and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. And today we're going to pick up a little bit where we left off yesterday. We're going to start a part 2. This is the end, but we're not going to do a multiple on to advance your life and discover your purpose. And I believe, guys, this is the missing element. This is the missing element in most of our lives. Yes. And so today we're just going to unpack this a little bit further, because what's a life that doesn't discover purpose? What's the life that gets all the things in life, that gets, that goes to school, that even writes books and has businesses, but still does not get to their purpose, the absolute reason for the creation? Is that a good life? Is that a good life? And so today we're just going to pick up where we left off so we can continue in this journey together as we discover purpose. So I was listening to another, I guess you call them sermons, but they're really just teachings of Dr. Miles. And he was, talking about the king and, how he wanted to, that particular day, he wanted to share with the people, the keys of the kingdom. Everybody wants the keys of the kingdom. Yes, I have somebody live in the live audience today, guys. Someone's in the office, and it's so amazing to have one person in the office, one person here with us live. But at any rate, Jenny's not usually in here, but she's in here today. But at any rate, so it's nothing like trying to get the keys of something, right? What if you got the keys to a tractor trailer, but you never drove a truck? I want you to think about this. You got the keys, you got the key. Someone says, hey, you can use that vehicle to get to where you got to go. You can use that vehicle to move. Maybe you need to move from one place to the other. And they say, well, you know what? Here, you can use the tractor trailer. It's got enough space and you can go move. They give you the key. It's got a stick shift. It's got all these buttons in there. And you're saying to yourself, man, I've never driven one of these. I was watching a short video a couple of days ago, and it was a guy driving the truck, but he didn't know what he was doing. And he was pulling it into the yard. But as he was pulling it into the yard, the trailer got hooked up on something. And literally, as the person was driving, the trailer got hooked up and just pulled the wheels off of the trailer because that person didn't know how to drive that tractor trailer. I want you to think about this. You can have the key to something and not know how to drive it. You can have the key to something and not know how to use it. So Dr. Miles was intent that day. He said, no, we're not gonna start there, because if I give you the keys and you don't know how to drive, then that's going to be a problem. So as we were closing yesterday, I quoted the famous scripture in the Bible. That was my aha moment when I said, oh my goodness, I've never seen that before, even though I've seen it before. Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. To advance your life, I want you to think about this. To advance your life, we must seek to advance. Say that again. To advance your life, to advance my life, I must seek first. And as I seek first, what is seek? What does seek mean? That means you are pursuing, you are pressing forward, you are going towards something. And if we're not going towards something, think about this. If we're not going towards something, then how are we going to know something? If we're not actually doing something that brings us towards the thing that we know we're being called to, then how will we get there? How can we have things that we have no understanding about? See, to advance is to seek. And if you seek and I seek, then what does that mean? It just means that, man, if you're seeking to go towards wherever God's calling you, and here's the thing. You may have grown up in church like I grew up in church. And growing up in church, the understanding that I came under, I don't know about you, the understanding that I came under was, hey, stop, don't do that. You can't do that because this is why. And, that's a sin. And, you're a sinner. And that's all we heard in church. That's all I heard in church. You're a sinner and you shouldn't do these things. Here's what's interesting. And I talked about this, I think the week before. What is sin? What is sin? See, we've been focused on the fruit of sin. The fruit of sin is, could be, lying, stealing, cheating, all of the things, defilement of our bodies, and, all the things that come about because of sin. That's the fruit of sin. So if those things are the fruit of sin, when we aren't thinking right, meaning, right now they're telling most of us, they're saying, hey, well, you know what, there's multiple types of people. They're not just men and women. There's men, there's women, there's this type of person, and that type of person, that type of person. Is that real? Or is that just the fruit of? So those things are the fruit of sin. But now we got to come backwards. Seek first, advance your life. We got to go back. What's at the bottom? What's at the bottom of a tree? A root is a root. And that bottom, that root that's down there producing all those other things that's on the outside, that's what's tainted. So when you advance and when you start seeking and you start moving towards where God is, and the only way to move towards God is to seek first the kingdom. God is not going to come and say, hey, come, you got to come this way with me. Man, if you don't come this way, I'm telling you. Now, God will prompt. I was prompted at 40. And at 40, it was like, hey, son, you're going that way. You think that's a good way? Because I think this way might be better. And when God revealed that to me, I says, Now, he didn't say, if you don't do it, then I'm going to get you. He didn't do that. Now, maybe your parents and maybe my parents did that. Man, if you don't do this, then you're going to hell. You're going to burn in the lake of fire. Uh-oh. I was like, so we were doing things in church out of being afraid. Man, I've heard people say, man, you know what? Man, I just don't want to get, I just want to make sure I make it in. Man, I just want to make sure I've given my heart over to the Lord. I make sure I've gotten baptized. Uh-oh, like baptized. All right, well, you can get baptized. How many times you been baptized? I've been baptized, I think, in the water 3 times. And I wouldn't. And every time I got baptized, I came out and dealt with the same things, and it never worked. The water in that tub that day did not do anything for me. It did not do anything for me. It did not do anything for me, the water that day. So the thing about the things that we experience in life is it when we don't understand what's at the root, when we don't understand what's at the bottom. What's at the bottom? At the bottom, when we are born again. I want you to just kind of think about this. When we are born again, this is where no one knows. It's kind of like the conception of a baby. When the conception of a baby happens, nobody understands how that happens. Now, we know that husband and wife come together. They do, the sperm goes in. It's racing down the road and it hits the egg. But here's the thing. They said that there's hundreds of millions of sperm going at the same time, but only one can get into the egg. But no one knows how, like when the conception, when it happened, when it was like, she's pregnant. No one knows that because there's a time in between. So let's think about this in the spiritual now, because it's the same way. At the root of all of us is sin. Is sin. And what is sin? Sin is lack of purpose. Sin is not actually knowing who you are, not actually pursuing the God-given reason for your life. That's sin. So so what's taken over is everything else. And so because the world has programmed us, indoctrinated us, taken us all the way through, then the fruit comes off the tree. And so the fruit comes off the tree, and it's not producing the things that would be the things that's your purpose. So let's think about this. Let's go back to the root. We're at the root. And in order for that root to produce who you are, this is the easy part, guys. This is so easy. Don't complicate this. And I'm going to tell you, here's what happened for me. Lord, I can't do it anymore. Can you show me how? Can you show me what I should be doing and who I should become? Right here in this office. And he says, okay. Basically, turn over everything to me. That's in essence what the conversation was. Turn over everything to me. I said, okay, I'll turn it all over to you. Now, I didn't know about seeking first the kingdom back then. I learned later that that's what that was, seek first. And then I just start moving towards. But here's the thing. There was a period when I didn't know what happened. There's a period you're going to go through where you won't know whether or not God really heard you until one day you start doing things. And it just seems different. Like, I'm different now. I didn't want to drink anymore. I didn't want to do certain things anymore. I didn't want to experience different. I was like, oh, something's changing here. See, to advance is to turn over. You got to turn over your life, right? This isn't baptism in the water. This is baptism in the Spirit. And when we're baptized in the Spirit of God, then seeking first the kingdom becomes easy. Can you say easy with me? Say seeking first is easy when I'm baptized in the Spirit. And that's easy. It's, Lord, I'm going to turn my whole life over to you. I'm going to turn everything that I have over. It's the decisions, it's the desires, whatever it is, no more of my own desires, just yours. And when you take me into uncomfortable land, I don't mind being in uncomfortable land. I will be there uncomfortable, like I'm uncomfortable now. I will do things that make me uncomfortable for the sake of the desire of your purpose for my life. If you did that, if you just did that and then focused on that every day, one day you'll look up and say, oh, shoot, this is interesting. Something's changed. All of a sudden, it just seems like I can experience different things, even though they're uncomfortable. And it was because you turned over and then you said, I'm going to seek first the kingdom. I'm going to allow myself to see what the kingdom has for me. Would you do that today? Would you turn over your life today? Would you allow God to use you? Yes, he can only use you when you turn your life over to him. And if you just decide to seek first the kingdom, I can guarantee you, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I can guarantee you will discover the purpose for your life. And when you discover the purpose for your life, oh man, it's almost like joy, fulfillment is guaranteed. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me, and I hope you got value from this program today. Why don't you like, share, comment, let people know, hey, man, this was good, or this is what you got from it today. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, search The Healthy Accountant, subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. God bless. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live. So live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.